How's it going, guys? What's going on, guys? Will from Guitar Boneyard, about to go over some things with you on this Floyd Rose system. Where do I start? So, I started working on this Dean Dime Slime. I'm about to tune it down into D standard tuning, and was like about to do something really remarkable. And got a brain fart slash genius idea. Why don't I make a video about the pros and cons of setting up a Floyd? So I started working on the tuning setup on this guitar. Was going to tune it down into D standard. And thought, you know, it would be a good idea to show you guys. I've had a lot of people ask me, you know, how do I keep this thing in tune? How do I set this up? You know, like, some people say that theirs don't act right for them, like it's almost like it's a living organism, you know, some kind of living being on my guitar. And it's actually very simple. Is it really that difficult to set up a Floyd Rose system? Is it really that hard to change strings and to tune a Floyd system? Most of the time, people can change the strings. I've noticed, you know, a lot of people, you know, oh yeah, I can throw strings on it real quick. But it's the tuning process that gets... you know, gets me behind or gets me caught up in crap. It's not as simple, of course, as a string through or, say, you know, Tone Pro or whatever, hardtail. But it's not that simple, but there are so many things you can do with a Floyd that you can't do with that hardtail or that string through. There's some cool things you can do with a string through that you can't do with something with a Floyd. But regardless, that is a different argument altogether. Is it difficult to set up a Floyd Rose floating tremolo system to sound amazing and work right and stay in tune? And I say,
no, it's not.
It's definitely not that hard. It's super easy. I'm about to go over it with you guys because, you know, like I said, I was in the middle of working on this. I was thinking, you know what? Why don't I show everybody, you know, how I set my Floyd up? Because, you know, I'm pretty rough on my Floyds. So, I'm going to tune this bad boy down into D standard tuning. This video is not really necessarily for, you know, the tuning aspect of it as much of it as setting up the Floyd to where it's level and floating correctly after you tune it down or up. Because whenever you tune it down or up, it compensates for that spring setup in the back. But I'm going to go over all that with you guys here in just a second. So let's get into it. So what you want to do is you want to go down here to the... scoot this thing down a little bit. You want to loosen your locking nuts. You're going to loosen your locking nuts down nice and loosely. They're already kind of loosey here. You don't want to loosen them up too much to where if you decide to pick the guitar up and turn it over, they go flying all over the place. That would really suck. And the only reason I'm telling you that is because I've done it a lot. So, there's that. We are going to twisty this thing around. A lot of times, whenever you're tuning down, and yes, that is a SpongeBob sticker. So, now that you've got your, you know, your locking nut kind of loosened up, you want to go back here and look at where your springs are setting. A lot of times, you know, I've already got this halfway unscrewed here, so let's just go ahead and unscrew it the rest of the way. Probably fast forward And just for record, I'm not throwing these screws across the room. I'm just like throwing them back into my hand here. Take your screwdriver, and just for kind of like, you can probably hear my chickens fighting in the background. It's pretty great. My chicks. So, what I got going on here is, a lot of times people are wondering, why do these covers have these, these slight holes in them? Well, if you've noticed, those holes fit your screwdriver almost perfectly. Most screwdrivers. Your smaller ones, I've got some Big Daddy with a, interchangeable bits. But a regular size screwdriver is probably about the same size as that Floyd. Anyways, you get the picture. It can go down in there and screw in or screw out on your spring claw. Now, what your spring claw does is, whenever you tune this guitar down, your Floyd is going to drop down. It's going to dip down low. It's going to go down really far. The more you tune it down, the more it's going to lay back, and it's going to, distinguish notes, and your strings are going to line up against the pickups and all that stuff. And you're like, what the heck am I doing wrong? I'm tuning it down. This is what I'm supposed to do, right? Okay. This is where the complex stuff starts happening. You tune down and say, I haven't done it yet because I know what I'm doing. And after this is over with, you all will too. You need a very well balanced tension on the back of this. In my situation, I'm tuning down to D. And I unscrewed these pretty far back and realized this is too far. But I found the perfect spot. Whenever you release tension off of this, it makes it easier to take the springs out. If you notice that was like super easy for me to do right then, and I know that I'm tuning down, so I want to go ahead and release tension with the screws. You don't want to back them all the way out, because then things get kind of backwards. Take this off, and now you've got ample tension with your strings. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, my Floyd is tilted up a lot now. And my strings are very floppy. The most simple thing you can do is go ahead and leave it loose, your screws loosened out, just a little bit. Like I said, don't back them all the way out. Leave them in here, this is still in here. This is still got tension. Now what you'll want to do is, now that it's spring's gone, it's tilted up a little bit, you want to go over here and start screwing this back in. Make sure you got a good insert and a good form. You don't want to go in here with a power drill and just start. I've picked up so many guitars in the pawn shop where people have been like and rounded off the screw. Like, you don't have to do that. It's really unnecessary. If you just get the right size Phillip head, which I believe this is a P. Sometimes they got numbers on them as to what size they are. I think this is a P2. Yeah, this is a P2. So I'm pretty sure that's a size for your Phillip bits. Sometimes you don't. If you can just use common sense. If it fits in here perfectly and you can turn it without it rounding off the first couple of tries, you got your good Phillips head to screw this in with. But you don't want to get too wacky with it and round off your Phillips head. Like I said, I've bought too many guitars in the pawn shop or wherever used where somebody just annihilated a guitar for no reason. You didn't have to do that. And it's a mistake that everybody makes. I've made that mistake. And that's why I know not to do that. But that's why I'm here telling you this, so you don't do it in the future. Turn it back around here. Perfect. It's perfect. So I screwed the claw back up, tension-wise. Gained tension back. I like my Floyd. It's a
secret dime bag thing to do.
It's not really a secret. But you put enough tension on there to where the Floyd is cocked back just I don't even know what the measurement you would call it, but you can see. And you can really see it on this side. The way it's cocked back. Just a tad bit. Not you want the base plate still showing. You know, you want this back of the base plate still showing up on top of the guitar. But you don't want it like this. You want it just, I mean, this is literally perfect. This is exactly the way I like it. It's for harmonic reasons on your neck. You get better harmonics down on the second fret, the first fret. It's a pretty crazy little magic trick there that Dom bestowed upon us all. Thank God for that. But now, basically, all you've got to do is tune. That's definitely not in tune. And I don't have a tuner handy. But about the best way to go about this is to bring another guitar in the picture. Or your tuner. If you don't have a tuner, you know, do like I do and get on YouTube and tune it up. Tune it down, whatever. So we're going to tune it down. That's another way. I'll go ahead and pause it and tell you. That is another way you can tell for sure that you've managed, you know, like if you tune, like say, okay, like I tuned this guitar before, I tuned the first 3 strings down to D before I started doing this video. And I don't know if you can hear it or not. And I had already adjusted the springs back, and then my Floyd started getting kind of wonky on me, going down too far, you know, getting cocked back too far. And then I was like, I can't, you know, this is all whacked out, so I had to remove the spring. And then started this video with you guys, and then took the back plate off, screwed the spring claws back up into position, just enough to where my Floyd is setting exactly the way I want it to set. Now I'm tuning it, you know, and before it was all out of tune. Before it was all out of tune. I'm going to bring my tuner back up. Alright, so most of these strings are lower tuned than before, but the top first ones were tuned, so that was kind of a good sign that I got the Floyd set up pretty spot on. So, with that being said, I went ahead and went through, kind of tuned it by ear a little bit, kind of noticed it was off, tuned it up a little bit. Now my Floyd's kind of back up to say hello again. That's an easy fix. It's going to happen with your Floyds. Seems like a long process, but it's really not that big of an issue. We're already like, what, 9-10 minutes in the video, and I've been goofing off, so. What you'll want to do, since the Floyd is kind of back at its upstanding height, and I want to kind of tilt it back a little bit. I want to screw these in a little bit more, pulling it back down into place. And you'll keep doing that until it's adjusted out just right. Which right now, it's perfect for most people right now, what I just adjusted it to. But I want mine tilted back just a tad bit more. That's pretty tilt. It's gonna be a new word now. It's
pretty tilt.
It's tilt, dude. No, it's not. It's not gonna be a new word. Also, I want to kind of mention, this is not sponsored by this, but I don't know if I could have done this nice and neatly enough without this Music Nomad equipment care pad and neck holder. Ordered this thing off of Music Nomad, and it came with these cleaning brushes. It came with these cleaning brushes to, get in here and clean stuff off and, clean around the edges and things, get into tight spots that normally you can't get into if you like your stuff super duper clean. I mean, and it works. Like, this guitar is super dusty, so it's a perfect candidate for this. But, getting in under the strings and scrub-a-dubbing, cleaning up. This is a great little setup, and I love it. Music Nomad, it's pretty awesome stuff. You gotta go check it out. Like I said, I ain't sponsored by it, but I'm totally gonna sponsor it on this video because it's really awesome, and I'm not destroying my 150-year-old table that I'm working on. So, anywho, we got that. We're gonna go back to tuning again. So let's get back to the boring old tuning. Had to tune up a little bit.
Just a little bit, not much.
So now it is in tune. The guitar's in tune. My Floyd's exactly where I wanted it. After a few slight adjustments, it's done. There's a little bit of fast forward in the video. I'm not sure if y'all were counting, but I wasn't. That's including getting, the camera and stuff out and just videoing it. So I feel like 10 minutes tops, you can have your guitar set up with, if you're tuning your guitar, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, depending on what all's going on, that's all it takes. And you get to rip on a Floyd Rose, you get to get your pull on a Floyd, What more could a guy want than to get your pull on a Floyd? All I'm saying is, so basically what I'm saying is it's super, super easy to set this thing up, guys. So, other than that, that's it. That pretty much wraps it up. So, if you guys haven't already, please go subscribe to my page. I try to put out some knowledgeable content a lot of times. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's stuff that, you could really learn a lot about. Like, I fixed this guitar in one of the last videos. Fixed the neck of this guitar, and I mean, it's like a brand new guitar now. Really, literally. It was damaged in, shipping, and of course I torture tested it, which is pretty fun. But this thing is my tank. I love this guitar. Just tuning it down for a video that I'm going to be doing on Instagram soon, so definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, if you're new to this channel, please go check out my other page on the other platform, Instagram. It's Guitar Boneyard as well, and I'm also doing TikToks. So just look up Guitar Boneyard on TikTok, Instagram. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Peace out.